Everybody. So yeah, last week was a freaking disaster on this application. Yeah, I watched the video, and sure enough, I still have the problem. If I go and I say inspect, and then I go to the console, and then I hit this button, I get that message. But then if I reload, hit that button, I don't get that message. Last week, I sort of chalked it up to a timing issue on the Angular material side. I suspect what's happening is in some scenarios the focus is left on this button here before it can attach the focus to this, and I'm hoping that that just goes away. It just magically goes away when we do an upgrade. I will be doing an upgrade. That is not a luxury a lot of organizations have. Like they just they get sort of stalled out on a single version, and so upgrading isn't an option for them. And I just, this is one of those, I don't know what you call that. It's just kind of one of those ideas that you just, it's a problem that you just really can't do anything about a lot of times. That's what it seems like to me. I could be wrong. There could be a way to fix this. I definitely want to sort of keep in my mind. I just don't see where companies really have an alternative than to use this sort of technology if they want to build modern web applications especially for public use. I think it's just going to be very, very difficult if you want to have these sort of rich pop-ups and stuff like that. I think just society-wise, you just from a technology, you kind of take some steps forward, and then you stumble for a while, and then you move forward. And I just think as a group, we have a lot of issues around accessibility, and those issues we don't always have answers for them. But in this is, I think, a fake issue. I don't think there's really a problem. I do think it's working really well for somebody. Maybe it should, like when it pops up, maybe it should be on this instead. It should be focused up here. But it is focused down there, which is a little bit more useful to people who aren't using screen readers, I guess would be the best way to put it. So anyways, yeah, I'm completely knocked off my sort of path that I was on. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there's sort of two things that I need to deal with. One is like the setting up the reactive forms, so that and populating these things. And then two is setting up the behaviors that are going to happen when you make changes to these things. And it's been a long time since I've even thought about those things, so there's going to be a bit of a ramp up here. So in here, so we do create a form group. I believe in the template we can now associate our form group, our form items, these elements in this, what are they called? Form controls, to the actual elements in here. So right now we have, I believe we can, okay, so we have 1 and 2 in there, and we probably do not want them. We want this to be like a for loop with that. So that's like another thing. And then we do, I think you just say selected. I would have thought mat option would have, maybe it's something that you put on here, value. guess 1. And so when you have these brackets here, that means that it's going to calculate it and it doesn't know what the variable 1 is. So just to be a smart ass, I'm going to do this. So now it's a string 1, and then that's set. So I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe what will happen now is when I pop this up, it'll be set first option. Yeah, so that makes sense. So we actually want this to be a for loop. And one thing I'm just going to kind of give there's a issue that I know is going to present itself, and the issue is going to be, it's going to be upset that these are not in a form. They're not surrounded by a form control form element, but basically it's going to want, like, say that, hey, this should be a form. And I've spent many hours trying to figure out why something was broken, only to find out that I needed to just add form tags around the outside. But I don't really remember everything. I just remember it being an issue. So I want to sort of just keep my eyes open for when that happens. But basically what we want is to set this value to our control over here. So configuration form. I cannot really remember exactly how to do that, so I'm just gonna sort of, and okay, so we have over here ENUS. So basically, like here, so in both cases we don't really have this concept where we have a value and it's different than the value and is the same. So, but anyway, so value, and then I'm going to see if I can just do this dot controls. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Controls. Is there a get? I wonder. I kind of try to remember how to do this kind of stuff on my in my brain. And then I think we want to put this, and then let's see, I might be doing this wrong. Might need to go to some Chat GPT. This is just something that, like, I don't really work on very often. So that worked. Dot. And then is there a value? Value. We'll see if that works. And then just for now, we're going to get rid of the other option. And then, so I do not, okay, so I think at this point, all I've done is sort of hard coded. I don't think I've actually bound these things or, you know, done any kind of binding to anything at this point. I think all I've done is just had it, is just sort of connected the dots. I didn't, there's no actual relationship other than it gets printed, I think, at this point, but I don't know. Okay. Is this supposed to be 2? Maybe it's only supposed to be like that. I get mixed up between the JavaScript and the Angular templating language, because they're kind of similar. Okay, so that is working. So this is the point where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got this. This is simple. But then you're like, wait, if you think it deeper is like, okay, wait, how is this bound? And it isn't. There is no binding. And so now we're gonna do the same thing down here. I think all we're doing is printing it, but we haven't actually made this a a control, a form control. I think that those might be the words. Let's sort of, as we go on this journey, sort of try to get a better grasp of the vocabulary. That would be good. So I believe it's the same thing. Value, yeah, value equals configuration dot controls. And I think it's like max. I don't think that's right. What is it? Max results. But in a sense, like, this gives us sort of a false illusion that we have done some good work here, which I do not think. Like, yeah, we did get it to print out and all that, but I don't think we've actually implemented these at all. So, like, I don't believe that now at this point, like, if we were to add, and maybe I'm wrong, but I could say like configuration form. So I want to say like, I think, yeah, I think it's fine. So I'm going to add a constructor. So this is something that you kind of have to think about when you decide where you want to do something. And a lot, if you really want to do anything that has anything to do with anything that's on the screen that you could visually lay eyes on, you don't want to do it in the constructor, because this is what happens when the component is being constructed. It does not happen. So nothing exists when this is the first thing that runs before anything else exists. So none of the template exists when you do this, but we're trying to do something on the configuration form. So we're going to say configure, and then we're going to say subscribe, or I think it's like on changes. Change, value changes. So anytime the form changes, we want to run this function. And it's a RX observable, so we want to subscribe to this, and we want to pass it this function, console.log. And I never know what to put in here. It should be obvious, but let's say stuff type string. Okay, so this should tell me what it should be, because it's going to be like, dude, and so it's saying that basically I should be getting value partial language string. So it's saying that I can copy this right here, that I'll get, I think this is a, let's see if we can just do that. I don't know. I don't know. No. So another thing you can do is just say any. Now, I remember, like, I feel like the most obvious thing to make that is like the result, but that is a lot. I saw, like, I once had this pasted code that was similar to this into ChatGPT, and it gave me a rash of crap over that. it was basically channeling some jerk who was like, "There's a lot of problems with this code," and I was just like, I actually got a little bit. Yeah, see, so because there is no event happening, and and that's because this configuration form is not tied to this set of form fields. And so I'm going to ask ChatGPT, see if I can put this in an intelligent way. I'm trying to get better. Like, what I think you should always work on trying to communicate. And it's like, okay, so I have what is this thing called? This is called a form group in Angular, and I have a form group. I want to connect it to my template so that the value changes event is executed, so my subscription runs. So those words are effed up. So hopefully it understands what I'm saying. Okay, so event fires. So event was right. And then I got this value changes subscribe. I did that. And then this is what I did. And so if you don't do this, if you do this, you'll run into the problem that I'm doing. So my form control name is language. So like, I think if you do this, you'll get a sort of a not useful thing. And I probably should have done and then I don't even know if we need that value anymore. Like I don't know. I don't think we need this anymore once we do this. But let's go over here. So it compiled just fine, but I don't think I think there's going to be an issue. Yeah, this, and with a parent form group, you'll need to add a form group directive to pass it existing. So I think what it really is telling me, I think what that is really telling me is that I need this up here. I believe that's what it's saying. And I just can't even tell you how many times like I've spent and the thing is it kind of just fails, if I remember correctly, in the background. So like sometimes people will actually commit with that error, because often there's like an iterative approach to doing work, and so like they get their part done, but that's actually happening in the console. I'm hoping that goes away now. Yeah. So that was gone. It was interesting that that error happened before this blocked area hidden. So I think that, yeah. So I don't know. First, yeah, that is interesting. I kind of would have expected the constructor to error to run after, but no, I guess. Well, because the template was still being built, I guess. So that's why. But anyway, so now that error is gone. I'm not sure if we need this anymore. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. See what happens. Yeah, so yeah, and I think now we can do form control name. And I don't know. I feel like if you're watching, if you're the kind of person that watches my videos, which, there's like 12 of you. So I definitely appreciate you all. But that this is actually why you watch is because you actually want to understand how these things work. So, but yeah, because there's it's just like if you run into this problem at your job, it sucks. And not understand and let your job life experience is just a lot more pleasant when you understand things like this. Okay, so we got, so I don't think I need the value anymore. Yeah, so we didn't need that anymore. And that is a sort of a pattern that I've noticed is a lot of times you sort of get the form populating, but you don't actually get it working. And that's part of like this sprint. We're doing that this sprint. And then next sprint, you end up having to remove the code that was just populating because the code that's populating is different. But I believe now, if we inspect and we change this, I hope to, yeah. So basically, okay, so this is all we got was this object, right? And that's what we were. Let's go back into here. So what we're expecting is an object of language string max results string. So I wonder if we can just do this. So even though that is what we got, it did not like it. So it's kind of expecting this. And let's try that again. Let's make another run at this thing. Okay, so I think it was pretty. What the heck did I just do? Okay, so I think I might need another partial results. Let's move this down to another line. And it looks like, so it looks like I didn't get enough. So it's upset because it can't find observers. So let's see if it knows. I noticed that it'll grab observers from strange places. Yeah, so ArcsJS is exactly where we would want that to come from. Um, maybe it has to be this. That whole darn thing. Let's try this again. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely would spend the time to figure that out, I think, in a professional environment, but I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think it actually adds value here. So now we have our changes and we can set the changes. So that's a good thing. But okay, so there's two obvious pieces missing. And one of them is I'm just getting rid of unused libraries. Let's make sure that that doesn't. Oop, went too far. Wrong again, AA Ron. Okay, so make sure that nothing that this still works. So we do need to get the actual values. Right now I have hard-coded values here. So we do need to get the actual values. And then we could run into issues when we get the actual values of like, oh, you updated the screen before it could make values. So we may not want to create the configuration form. I think it's fine though. I think it's as long as we use the configuration forms stuff. As long as we use information from the configuration form. I mean the functions for the configuration form. Like the setters and getters for this, I think will be okay with it handling sort of being defaults. But maybe we don't even want to create the configuration form until we have the actual data, and maybe we don't even want to, and maybe we want to add like an ngIf or however we do it these days at the top here, where we're saying, hey, we aren't even gonna generate this form over here until we've gotten the data for the form, and so that could be things. So that's like sort of on the front half, and then on the back half, we're going to need to architect a way to get that data over there so that when we make our changes, we close this, click off of there, and then we click record, we can do a recording. And actually, I guess because of, if we did want to be like accessible, if we wanted to have accessibility, if that was a part of this project, we would definitely need to have a button to close this, because I don't think clicking off is really an option for accessibility. Seems like this thing would work really well on mobile devices though, on a phone or something like that. But anyways, we're probably pretty far in. I think that was, for me, that was a really good useful thing, because I have a lot of angst and anxiety around this form group and these forms and understanding how these forms get populated and all that. Almost the pattern I've seen many times where you have inputs and all that, and it doesn't look like you need them. Right now we don't have more than one of these. This is going to have to be a for loop over the values, which is like another one of these. Like the value list, I guess, will be brought in somewhere. But I think right now in our speech service, that is where we have. I think we have yeah, the discrete language and the max alternatives. Um, so we probably want to have a signal. We want to add a signal, which I'm not super strong on, but and we probably want to have a signal that is these two values, discrete language and discrete and max alternatives, and we want to listen for that signal. Um, and then how do we want to handle the choices? Because the languages will probably be across continuous and discrete. So um, I guess that one will probably be that. And I don't know, do we want these to be individual signals like the current discrete language? Oh, well, oh, yeah, the list of languages will be the same. The actual language will be specific. So I guess maybe discrete language should be its own signal, which is a primitive string, and max alternatives should be its own signal, which is a primitive string. I guess that kind of makes sense. The the downside to that would be, like, let's say we decide, oh, we're going to add a third thing, then the amount of plumbing we have to do goes up because we have to implement these different signals, or a whole new signal for each one. But I don't think there are going to be many options. I don't think there'll ever be other options. Or if they are, I kind of want to have to do a bunch of work, to understand, okay, what's going on? Okay, we got this other thing. Okay, let's set up the signal. So I guess I want to set up like a discrete language signal and a max alternative signal, um, and and kind of handle them separately. There is a one little weird thing that happens on that, and that's that the code that you handle for signal changes executes all of it executes regardless of which signal sets it off. So that's something we have to keep in mind. I definitely have not kept up with the latest in signals. Let's try to do that real quick. Since we're going to do that tomorrow, what is the best way to set up a simple primitive signal in Angular? Let's see. We'll see if it knows that I'm talking about like a string or a number. Yep, so it did. Increment. Okay, so computed. So I don't want a side effect or a derived state. Okay, so that's pretty cool, the little rocket place. Um, uh, if my signal is being generated, being executed, if the source of my signal service, is there a way to protect the signal? I don't even know if that's going to make sense to it. By making it read only, this prevents the command or other directly modifying. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Private count, read only this count. That is crazy. That is crazy. Okay, so yeah, this is, I think, completely new. This is completely new to me, this read-only thing. Um, yeah, so it seems like what I'll want to do is expose a function from my service that this discrete setting will execute when someone changes the form, and then the signal will fire. Now, I don't know if that's going to cause like some kind of infinite loop, and maybe I'll need to add a bit of extra logic that says if only do an update if the value is different than what we already have. Uh, I think the radio when was read only added. Angular 17. So, it came originally in the very first. Uh, yeah. When was signals added? Oh, Angular 16. Okay, so I think I learned about it in Angular 16. So read only didn't come till after I initially learned about signals. I don't think I implemented signals until Angular 17. And I think maybe even in this, no, I don't have these as read only. There was another, maybe my old 3JS application where I had signals and I had like a computed, and the whole idea was only to expose the read only, only to expose the computed one to force it to be read only. But it looks like now we just have a read only concept. So, anyways, so tomorrow, yeah, we'll be actually trying to get this real data into our form, and then maybe, I doubt we'll have time, but if we have time, get the data out of the form and back up to here, and then be able to use our application. I haven't really gotten a chance to play with the application in a while, so let's try what? Let's try what? What it was a funny one, and thing. What? So we got 6 back, and let's see if it's still all the weird spellings. Yep, still all the weird spellings. Okay. Thing. So it didn't hear me. Thing. 8 things back. It said 43% chance confidence that I said thing. Almost 60% confidence that I said sing. Thinks I may have said fang. Fing. Fong. Sing. The name sing. Fang. And then I like that thing. So it says there's 2 things. I liked. It thinks, and it gave them equal thing, but the first one it gave it. And then what thing? There's 3 things, and it said 93% chance that I said what thing with that. I might have said it with 2 W's at the beginning, and it still has the same confidence and the same that I might have said it with a WHUT. So, what was that thing? So it is weird that like it didn't think I was saying WUT. Like why? I wonder what the difference is. WHUT or WWHAT. Like that's interesting. So, anyways, yeah. Yeah. We're moving right along. We still have this GD. Let's see if we picked up any new. Oh, we have all our console. Let's get rid of that. So that's in our well, Actually, I think yeah, I think we want to keep that, but I guess we'll just comment it out for now. And then just see if we've picked up any new console log issues. No, just the blocked area issue. So, yeah, here we go. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.